A monumental day here in the United States, which will go down in history as one of the key moments that changed the debate over same-sex marriage. Supporters are celebrating a victory, while those opposed to same-sex marriage are pledging to fight on. We have live team coverage tonight with Nick Harper in New York, but we begin with Jim Spellman here in Washington. Jim.
Elaine, even gay rights activists in this movement can't believe how much progress they've made in the last few years, and this may be their biggest victory yet. Cheers from hundreds of gay rights supporters outside the U.S. Supreme Court as two rulings were announced. The first, striking down the Defense of Marriage Act, a Clinton-era law that barred the federal government from recognizing same-sex marriages, and a second, paving the way for same-sex marriage in California, the largest state in the U.S.
We have now taken this country another important step towards guaranteeing the promise that is in our Constitution, in our Declaration of Independence, that all people are created equal, that all people have the inalienable right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
As supporters of same-sex marriage celebrated, opponents, mostly religious conservatives, blasted the court.
This court has taken upon itself the attempt, a radical attempt to redefine marriage.
The Supreme Court has no authority when it comes to the nature of marriage. That authority belongs to the Creator.
13 states plus Washington, D.C. recognize same-sex marriage, but until Wednesday's ruling, the federal government did not. Married gays and lesbians will now get the same tax breaks and Social Security benefits as straight couples, and the Pentagon says it will process benefits for same-sex spouses of service members as soon as possible. Gay marriage will remain illegal in states that have not passed laws allowing it.
But these court rulings show that the federal courts, at least, are going to be hostile to this idea of telling people what a spouse is, what their marriage is.
President Barack Obama, who ran for office opposed to gay marriage, then changed his position once in office, released this statement. This was discrimination enshrined in law. It treated loving, committed gay and lesbian couples as a separate and lesser class of people. The Supreme Court has righted that wrong, and our country is better off for it. Then the president reached out in a more personal way to the plaintiffs in one of the cases.
The president's on the line from Air Force One. Go ahead.
Hello, Mr. President. This is Chris Perry.
And Sandy Steer, we thank you so much for your support.
And after years of legal wrangling and an emotional day, a proposal.
So today is a good day. It's the day I finally get to look at the man that I love and finally say, will you please marry me?
It's still unclear whether states that do not have gay marriage will have to honor same-sex marriages performed in states that do. So there's still a lot of work for people in this movement before they have what they call marriage equality. But for today, Elaine, a major chance to celebrate for people in this movement.
All right, Jim Spellman from our Washington newsroom, thanks. Now on each side of the United States, in both New York and California, we saw emotional celebrations as the decisions were announced. Same-sex marriage is legal in both of those states. And for more reaction, we head live now to New York and CCTV's Nick Harper. Nick.
Well, it was here in New York that the legal challenge against DOMA began. 83-year-old Edith Windsor, who was married to a woman, sued the American government after she was billed more than $360,000 in estate taxes when her partner died. Taxes that she wouldn't have had to pay had her partner been a man. Their marriage was recognized under New York law, but not by the Defense of Marriage Act. Now, a victory for her and for thousands of campaigners. They were the outcomes they had hoped for. The Supreme Court's decision sparking celebrations in New York. At the Stonewall Inn, couples came to watch the rulings. A fitting location, since many say this is where America's gay rights movement began back in 1969. Mary Jo Kennedy and Joanne Shane married in New York 2 years ago, as soon as it became legal.
We're absolutely thrilled. This is a historic day. The Supreme Court ruled on 2 same-sex marriage cases, and they made us fully whole today through the overturning DOMA, and that is huge.
Pam Walter and Carol Zaref have been together for 37 years and say now being able to get the same marriage rights as heterosexual couples changes everything.
Yes, we'll get married.
Our parents would be disappointed
That's
if we
right.
didn't get married now.
That's right. They expect it. We spoke to them this morning, and my mother said, "When's the wedding? Do you have a dress?"
It's a day of celebrating for many here in New York, especially here at the Stonewall Inn, the place which many people consider to have been at the forefront of gay rights campaigning for almost 45 years. And it's a day that many people had hoped for, but never thought would actually come. In California, similar celebrations after the justices cleared the way for same-sex marriages to resume in the state. But campaigners warn that while the news is good, it's not the end.
We now have 13 states with the freedom to marry, but that leaves 37 more where people are still discriminated against. We have 100 million Americans living in a state with the freedom to marry. That leaves 200 million who still need to have that same freedom and protection. So we still have a fair amount of work to do.
Equal rights for all!
And while bans on same-sex marriage remain, many in the gay community say they'll keep campaigning and make the most of their new legal status. So a definite step forward, but campaigners told me that there's still a lot of work to do to make sure that gay couples throughout the entire country have the same set of rules applied to them. That they are optimistic, and they've told me that they think that they can get another challenge before the Supreme Court in the next couple of years.
Well, and Nick, this is an issue that obviously divides a lot of Americans. Do you have any sense if the tide is turned and if there are now more people in support of same-sex marriage than ever before?
Well, Elaine, if you look back to 1996 when DOMA was signed just 17 years ago, just 25% of Americans supported same-sex marriage. Compare that to a poll that was out just last month, and 55% of America, the majority of Americans, now support same-sex marriage. Perhaps that was helped in part by the fact that the American president came out just over a year ago and said that he supported same-sex marriage. But either way, there's definitely been a huge cultural shift in recent years, with many Americans rethinking the way they define marriage.
All right, Nick, thank you so much for that update live from New York.